I would say that even if you're apprehensive, it doesn't really matter because like if you were to just take the money that you spend on coffee and say, I'm not going to spend money on coffee this week. I'm going to take all that money and invest it into Hex. You're going to be thanking me a few years from now. I can almost guarantee it. Oh, here we go. Looks like it's working, but there you are. Microphone is muted, so I can unmute your microphone. Hello?
Hi, I have not had good luck with this platform at all.
Okay.
Uh, so what happened just now is for some reason it's picking up a different default microphone, but I understand, if I understand correctly, it automatically, when I came in, it showed all of my multi-streaming options.
Yep.
And does it automatically go live to my destinations then when I am
Yeah.
coming on as your guest?
Yeah, if you toggle those little buttons from gray to green and you switch
Uh-huh.
them on, it will go to any channel that you want it to, which is actually kind of cool because it's really like cross platform cross user pollination. It's like it's bizarre because my content will end up on your stream and your content will end up on my stream. It's really cool. I don't know how they did it, but it's like magic.
Okay, well, it was defaulted as on to my Twitter and my YouTube, which is, I'm not real active on Twitter or YouTube right now because I'm so deeply involved with my groups on Facebook. But
Okay.
my Facebook, when I attempted to connect Facebook, and I get an error message every time I come in here. But I attempted to connect Facebook. I made sure everything was I'm geeky. I connected, made sure everything was public,
Right.
and the thing is, I have like 300 groups, and the default is it brings up that whole list, and
Wow.
I think it freaked the software application out, and I literally at that time, because it was the first couple days that had after um, people from our blab days had come over,
Yeah.
and so everybody was just testing it, and I didn't know about how reliable the software was, so I just picked a few groups to go live in where I knew like there are people like us and so forth,
Hmm.
and it looked green and everything, and then I clicked the next the button to do the next option,
Yeah.
and it failed. So, and came up with uh,
It
uh, it came up with an error. I saved it, but it is clearly it's
Barb,
like a programming error.
do you use OBS or anything else right now?
I have yes, I don't
Okay.
use OBS at all. I
Okay.
was using, even before Blab Days, I used ManyCam as a virtual camera application
Okay.
because I can pull in, multiple
Well,
cameras,
can I
and
give you a tip right there because I found out that what was happening when I went from that one step where you toggle all of your media channels on or off. When I went from that step to coming into the studio, what happened is it gave me that same error report. And I think what it was is this software was not picking up my camera because I was trying to start the application with OBS enabled. So if you're trying to start it with Manicam enabled, it might be doing the same thing. It does not recognize that software. So what I had to do physically is I have to go down in the settings and I turned it over to my laptop internal camera, and that turned off all of the OBS, and my Logitech camera, it turned all of that off. And then once I got into the studio, then I flipped my settings back from the internal camera to my OBS settings. And I know it sounds like a pain in the butt, but I'm doing it from a laptop, so for me it was no big deal.
yeah, it's not ManyCam. I did the steps that you already talked about, so been there,
Okay.
done that, and I think on the first one I came in with the internal webcam. I am not, because I'm doing some troubleshooting on a different matter. I'm not camera ready today, and so I
Okay,
just
that's
have
fine.
my.
I've
So
got
you
your
know I'm
icon photo up.
beautiful. I'm a beautiful old lady. What can I say? Imagine anything. You have a lot more fun with my avatar anyway. You know,
That's fine.
I
So, how
silly
have you
avatar.
been? I haven't heard from you for quite a while because I obviously you're traveling in a few different circles over there on Facebook than I am.
Well, I have, since the last time I saw you, the person that I had been caregiver of for about 18 years ended up passing away of cancer.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear
And
that.
he's been gone about a year now, but uh, and I've had my helping my son get through the master's degree program, and now my husband, because I'm a was a digital nomad and traveling all over, working from remote locations all over wherever the consulting took me to.
Hmm.
Now uh, my husband, because of COVID, is able to work remotely also, but we're able to be together more
Oh,
as
that's
a
good.
result of that. So that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I am studying for the Facebook actually dubbed me to participate in their certified community manager program, and I've been
Wow.
studying that, and I'm taking the test for certification on the 12th of February. I've rescheduled that once, um, and I'm now scheduled for the 12th of February, so I have my fingers crossed that I won't need to reschedule it again.
So what
COVID
what will
has
that enable you to do? Does that mean that you will have some Facebook clout that you can actually go and sell those services?
uh, I would be on a recommended list for their corporate, the larger companies and so forth. It's a very small percentage that are certified,
Okay.
and the type of education that we receive is developing community beyond groups. I come back, I've been developing online communities since the 80s, starting with the old BBS systems,
Okay.
and at the corporate and enterprise level, and uh, with customers and uh, their clientele and so forth, so on. And at this stage in life, I have strong alliances with certain industries, but it wasn't about the money for me. It's just, of course, I'm at the stage in life where I'm writing my memoirs, and I just I'm at the level, I'm what they call a Facebook power admin, which is also something that is dubbed by Facebook, and but you don't get paid for it. It's just you have to meet certain qualifications for them to take you in. But
Right.
when they do, there are perks to it in that you're apprised of things earlier, things that can impact your groups and your presence earlier, and your level of support is better, and you're on the bleeding edge for new product development. You're the guinea pigs.
The beta
So
testers.
right. So that's my world anyway. So that works out well. But I'm thinking I'm also going to be teaching some. Finally, getting around to putting my courses live on the Udemy platform.
Oh,
And
cool.
again, that's not a money thing, because we all know that Udemy, you primarily go there to increase reach. It's because they've invested so much in their advertising.
But have you
But
have you looked at what's the number of that other one? There's another one.
I've done Thinkific. I've got it all. Don't you worry about that. I have a book on that coming out too.
No, I'm just
But
I'm just the reason I ask is because I think of platforms as not just the way that they're operating, but I think of them as kind of like networks. And I know that that other platform,
MeWe,
no, what's it? I think it starts with a J.
a
Um,
plat. Are you talking about
Kajabi.
oh,
Kajabi.
Kajabi? Yeah, well,
Yeah.
that's just a teaching platform. That's just an alternative. Brendan
Yeah.
Burchard uses that. He's the one that introduced me to Kajabi. Was Brendan Burchard's programs, but
Okay.
in those, there are various, approaches you can take if you want to focus on online instruction.
Yeah.
I am It's not about that. It's about the story for me. I've aligned myself with the top Udemy instructors in the world as top 15 of them. I think at this point, and I've got one that I actually manage his group on Facebook. He's got close to 14,000 members now, and in
Wow.
that Facebook group, and he's got he's edging in on 1 million enrolled students,
And how much do you
and
make from that?
that's a registered. I'm not doing that for the money. I don't
Yeah,
need
but at
to.
some, come on, Barbara, you got to think about your time. At some point in time, this guy is probably going, "Wow, I got this really great girl. Her name's Barbara, and she's just
Yeah,
doing all this work for me, and it's free." I mean, I would be
no.
eating that up. If you could look at my website and go, "Oh yeah, I can make yours rock and roll on Facebook." I'd be going, "Yes, yes. Here's a little tip here. Here's a little bit tip." You know what I mean? I think that some of these people, they get in a position where they do have that kind of like that clout, and some people are like looking at them as like, oh, they're Facebook gods, or they're just social media,
Yeah.
entrepreneurs and crazy. You got mad followings, but at the same time, they do. I'm sure they do get a lot of stuff for free, and they can afford to pay for it.
Well, it's not. Um,
I know that there's
there's
a trade off. When you can associate your name to a person that is an
yeah.
influencer. I understand that whole concept. I mean,
It's not actually the fellow that I'm helping out started his business at the same time. The alliance isn't about me becoming famous or anything by aligning with him. He's quite honored to have me helping him out, and
yeah,
I the feeling is mutual about helping him because he's figured out the secret sauce in on the Udemy platform. He's actually, I think he had 18 months ago, probably, I know he had less than 100,000 students, and probably somewhere in the 30s to 40,000. And
what
he
kind of
figured it
courses does
out
he? What kind of
in,
courses does he produce? If you don't mind me
well,
asking.
in, he switched his world he's world renowned for his media courses. He has had clients at the UN and all the major networks, and
Oh,
I
okay,
mean he's like a superstar from that world, and was actually on television for years. I don't want to mention names at this point, but
okay,
the thing is that he saw what was happening in our world, and he's also a motivational speaker, and he switched to personal development, and all of the topics, personal development topics,
yeah,
um, are real strong sellers. The courses, it's ev- everything he's doing because it's about communication. Media is about communication,
yeah. I
and
agree.
just like HAPS being here, it's how to be a true professional player in media and reporting properly, getting your messages uh, communicated properly, and uh, the all of those things are what he teaches on that platform.
Okay. So,
So
in your opinion, though, from what you heard me explaining, and I mean, I just kind of like brushed the surface, but when you hear me talking about hex, did you get interested? Did I pique your interest? Because you said your son is interested in, and he's basically into Ethereum and Bitcoin. But is that something that you would go and tell him about now?
I was listening to ask him about that, yeah, to find out if
Yeah.
he knew anything about it. He is he of course in the master's program, which was in finance, graduated at the top of his class,
Oh,
and
okay.
he's just done exceptionally well, and he's actually going to be starting the doctorate program in this summer, and he's
Okay.
planning on paying all of it through his Bitcoin and that.
Yeah, Ethereum investment. Yeah, Bitcoin's been doing really well. Ethereum's been going up, and the reason that Ethereum is going up, and it's not even like, when they just kind of have these kind of, it's like guesstimation. They're just like going, well, we think it's happening because of this and this and this. But with Ethereum, the main reason that Ethereum is going up in price as well as Bitcoin, but they say mostly Ethereum's going up in price because there is there's a very large number of people that are using Ethereum as the base for their platforms to run on top of. So it's gaining more and more popularity every day. So yeah, it's like they're starting to have certain bottlenecks because there's so many transactions happening on Ethereum on a daily basis now. So it's pretty exciting because it's still in its infancy. And then with Hex,
Right.
Hex is just one more platform that got added to it. But Hex was like literally one of the first platforms that was designed specifically with the intention of letting people stake their money for a certain period of time. So you can go from 1 day all the way up to 15 years.
Hmm.
So it's
Oh,
it's amazing.
I
It's
will.
amazing.
I have. Uh, my portfolio includes Microsoft and Apple since the '80s. So I'm, uh, and I'm I don't know if you remember what E.F. Hutton was, but I'm
Yeah.
formerly with E.F. Hutton. So I go
Okay.
way back there. But my
Okay.
son is major into this, and I'm sure he can talk your language, and
Yeah. Well,
it's
you should
he's
you
so
should you
far
should write this
ahead.
down. Do you have a pen and paper handy, or you can
Oh,
just watch the replay? The,
I have been writing. You should know me well enough to know I keep
yeah.
notes. I'm a
Okay. So
beta
there's
tester.
there's a guy who's the developer of Hex. His name is Richard Hart. And I think because your son is involved in finance and you've got a good understanding of finance, you will appreciate this guy's level of understanding of all of these macroeconomic topics and cryptocurrency at the same time. And he's been a developer, so he has it's kind of strange because he has an understanding of the finance world, and he has an understanding of cryptocurrency and high level mathematics and stuff. So he's just a really sharp
Uh,
guy. Yeah, his name is Richard Hart, and you can find him on
I
YouTube.
wrote it down. I wrote that down. Do you know who Chris Haroon is? He's a Udemy instructor, one of the top ones. That he ended
That's,
up creating his own MBA program, but he is someone that's into that as well. He actually has a series of courses on cryptocurrency, pretty intense, that he
wow.
does over there. But he's
Yeah.
he's developed a whole academy on that. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, I think that Udemy platform is really nice. I like some of the courses. I've actually taken two courses myself, but that was over a year and a half to 2 years ago. Yeah. But yeah,
Uh-huh.
I like the way the Udemy platform works. I was just introduced to Kajabi not too long ago, and then also you remember Angel. She was the one who
Yes.
first told me about Kajabi, and then
Mm.
recently I found out because I have a Shopify store. I found out that they have this app that basically kind of like clings on to your apps that are built into the Shopify store, and it makes it so you can accept and sell digital products right on your Shopify store. So it was a
Uh-huh.
very good yeah, it was a very good connection between the two different platforms, because I had been wanting to sell my course, which is for, back injuries, back pain management. And I thought,
Mhm.
well, I can go and pay the fees over at Kajabi or Udemy or one of these other platforms. But then I was looking at it and I was thinking, I can host it myself right there on Shopify. When I found that out, I was like, yeah, this is great. This is a good option. because
Yeah.
I was already paying my subscription fees for hosting my platform in the first place with Little Beaches. So I figured I'll just add that on. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a
Right.
nice
Well,
option.
I have nothing negative to say about Kajabi. And in fact, do you remember Bonnie Frank? She even uses Kajabi. Do you
Yeah,
remember Bonnie? She was
yeah,
on
I
Blab
remember Bonnie.
and she
Yeah,
uses Kajabi. And I
yeah,
don't know if I am at a stage in life I don't know if I want to go to that. I was talking. Do you remember Elaine Niederbing? I
yeah,
She
yeah,
was the laugh
yeah, yeah. The Laugh Fest.
The
She's always
Laughist,
trying to
right.
get
I
people to
was talking to her just yesterday, and we're both in the same position. I don't know that we're going to I don't want to have individual clients. I would rather have the product just the products to be concerned. I have the digital products and distribution, and I
right.
think my company the just focus on that because strategic consulting, it's been probably 15 years since I've had to go look for a client. They come to me by referral,
Yeah, that's
and and depending on the mood I'm in, it can be anywhere from $500 an hour to 10,000.
nice.
So just depending on the mood and the information that's desired. So that's
Depending on if
not
it's Elon Musk or someone else, huh?
well. You may remember some of the celebrities we had on Blab where we were all testing that out. It was fun to have that many real influencers, you know what I'm saying, that weren't built from the platforms, but people of the
Yeah,
world. But we're all getting older now, and I'm concerned with just leaving a positive mark for my son in case he does have any grandchildren that say, "Who was my grandma?" Kind of thing. But I'm also, I started out in the Electronic Frontier Foundation. I'm one of the first members in that organization, and because of all this privacy stuff and um, things that have been coming on of late,
yeah.
there's a lot of things going on there that I need to help with. So, uh, it's a very strange time for us. Uh,
Yeah,
there,
I think that one of the things that too was kind of strange because that Richard Hart, he talks on all of these different topics. He like for me, you've always known me. You know my name's Donald Brandt, and whether I put that in my title or not doesn't really matter because it comes up usually somewhere on one of my streams. But I've always used my real name, and I've been transparent, and the guys in this hex community, some of them have been very cagey and like they're going, oh yeah, I have a username and this and that, and I'm going, yeah, but didn't you hear what Richard said about this? He says most people that spend a lot of time trying to hide their identity end up spending more time on that than it's really worth, because the actual end game is that if the government or some entity really wanted to find out who you were or where you were or where you live or any of those kind of metrics, they can really do it. It's not that difficult for them to do if they set their mind to it or if there's a real reason for them to do it. So
yeah.
yeah, I've just never been one of those people that have felt like I needed to hide my identity with aliases and stuff. But I mean, I see some people's concern about it because you can run into those situations, especially for women. Women have a really tough time because they're literally thinking about their safety in some cases. Get yeah, maybe
Well,
even getting away from a bad relationship or something. So that's a
right.
different story.
And that in India, that's a particular issue online.
Yeah,
I've had a lot of females from India who have locked IDs on Facebook because for safety.
yep,
It's an
yep,
option you can have. So yeah,
yeah,
it's and I definitely know all about that, having been online since the 80s. It's
yeah,
it was on 60 Minutes when we rounded up a guy on back in, oh, 92 or so, I think it was. And he was out of Fresno. He was out harassing all the women online. And we had to do work with the federal government to run a sting to round the character up. But
Wow.
there's always, and it's still, there's still very
Bad
much a
voice.
frontier.
Yeah, yeah.
So
The thing that it's irritating to me though is to just to think about the way people talk to each other on Twitter. Like I'm not a fan of Twitter, and I'm not a daily user of Twitter because you can see so much really nasty conflict back and forth with these people on Twitter, and it's like, yeah, I don't want to be part of that because it's pretty toxic, and I just, yeah,
I
I try
loved
to avoid that.
Twitter. I loved it when it started, but I have to tell you, this last year, I've spent the least time on Twitter as I mean that I ever have. I used to just, I was checking it every hour and
Yeah,
participating on certain, Twitter chats and all of that. And I just, it really, I used to be able to go there and count on the news people to give me something reliable. But
yeah,
now, I mean, they've gotten emotional in their, I mean, just the verbiage that they choose to use in a tweet. And
yeah,
then we have the same thing, it's just people have lost their class, if you will. They just seem to
yep,
have so little respect for one another, and it's really sad.
yep,
And professionals should be leading the way in respect, and anybody who can write, anybody who can communicate speaking into large groups can learn to control their language. I mean, there
yep,
is not, I mean, that's one of the things that sets you apart.
yeah.
um,
From
so
the
it,
animals.
yeah, it's more like being in the junkyard. I going to Twitter anymore, it's sad, it's really sad,
Yeah,
on what happened on that platform. But I have hope. I still check in at least once a day and make sure that certain accounts are still active. And there's some. It, I do more reactions than actually commenting or sending an original tweet anymore because of just because of the type of banter that's been going on.
yeah, yeah.
So
Yeah,
I
it's
think that
the religious and the political groups are really they to me it just seems like they can go really off the deep end really quick with a topic, and it's like I just go, yeah, I can't imagine getting mixed up in these kind of conversations because it's really actually there's no positive outcome. It's like a waste of time. So it's like sitting there spinning your wheels in mud and just trying to, there's nowhere to go with that. So yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
yeah,
Well, we were brought up differently in the different decades. I mean, I think you're younger than me, but you just certain things you just it wasn't something that you took out there in the general public and
yeah,
bashed around. And everyone's entitled to their own faith, and it's not up to you to sell others on your faith. It's up to you to have faith and have the
yeah.
strongest faith possible in whatever route you choose to take. I'm
Yeah.
not responsible for getting you to heaven if you believe in that. That's
Gee,
your
thanks.
job. So, and, and don't follow me because Lord only knows where I'm going to end up. I,
Yeah, I know. I know you're a bad girl.
I've been in the checkout line at least 3 times where I've lost my, where they've not sure they're gonna bring me back, and I'm still here. So even after the last round with cancer, it's if God, obviously I definitely believe, because if it weren't for miracles, I wouldn't even be here.
No,
And
you
so
got
I
to
know
believe in
that.
science too, or some of these guys would just be going out of it. They'd be out of a
but
job. Be going,
but
hey,
something stronger than just learning from books, you know, has to
Yeah.
have given him that gift. And for me, it's God. So, and so that's kind of how I roll.
That's
So
how
I
I
don't need to
roll.
talk about it or convince you about it. I know I live my life, and if you have any questions, that's you can ask them. But I'm not gonna go down that road because it's frivolous. There's no reason to do that. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it doesn't bring me joy as it
Yeah. Got to be
definitely.
happy with your own set of rules and guidelines, and all those things can be your own. Yeah.
Exactly. And even in investing, it's that positive attitude. And if you were, back in the old days in the E.F. Hutton days and that, it's like when you really studied companies, it's like, what, what is their management really like? And getting the scoop, if you will, on their managing style and on what their employees really think. And because the employees make that company. Once the founder is there and put the magic together, or put the company together, the employees come in and make the magic, but they only do that if they're happy. And if the
Yeah.
employees are full of if they're grumpy and overweight and complaining about themselves and each other and so forth and so on, that's not a company you want to be investing in. So,
No, you're right.
you have to think about that. It does get back to having a positive attitude, and I'll tell you that even helps you get better when you're not feeling well. It's and even if you are hanging on for dear life, you live at the quality of the hours that you have are better with um, accepting what is and being positive about it, because it's truly a blessing to just be in the moment you're in,
Hmm.
being where you are, and having the tools to communicate with, to not be alone. The worst thing for a human being, I think, is really being totally alone,
Okay,
no
don't
matter
bring that
how.
up. Now I have to cut you off because there's a point in time when I've never been alone from the time I was probably in my very first relationship with a woman. I was From then on, I had one relationship where I was in for 4 years, and then I was married for 18 years. And of all that time, I never knew what it was like to actually be alone, like with my thoughts and be able to just be creative and do whatever I wanted to, until I got divorced. And then I thought, wow, this really sucks. For a long time, I didn't like the feeling. But then after a while, I thought, oh, this is actually kind of nice.
Well,
It took a while for
that's
me
a
to get to that
different
point. So,
story. That's a different story. You have to love yourself first.
yeah, yeah, I guess
And
so.
in order to do that, you do have to have time with yourself.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I'm not afraid to come on camera or anything. I mean, what is today, but the for me, it happened back in 2014, and that I was in a selfie challenge, and I thought, what a ridiculous thing. Because I had, using, I mean, back in the early days of Skype and so forth, I'm a what is person, and
Hangouts,
I
Google
I
Hangouts.
don't yeah, yeah. And so by going through that exercise though, where you have to look at yourself, physically look at yourself, and you're doing that every day and you're thinking, I'm looking at myself, but I'm answering to these people that are in this challenge. What are they thinking? The impact of what they're thinking in the back of your head. And it's like, I just want to be me. I want them to know who I am for me. And
Yeah.
that's where I'm talking about loving yourself first. Do you know that until 2014, and I had lived over 50 years at that time, please don't do the math, but um, I had lived that long at that point, and I never thought of myself as a pretty woman, pretty to look at, appealing to look at. And I'm married to a very handsome man, but I
Okay.
never looked at myself from a physical presence point of view.
Why do you think that is?
I have no clue. Well, I think it's because I never stopped to love myself. That's where we got
Oh,
up
okay.
on this topic because
Well, can
because
I
the
ask you
self
something though?
is
Because
in
that's
my
kind of
face.
interesting. I wanted to ask you something though, specifically though, because I think do, do you think that it could have anything to do with your childhood? What you felt like when you were in school, for example?
Well, I was a I'm a very I have a very high IQ. You might have guessed that.
Yeah.
But so I was a very brainy child, but I was a very physically ill child. Um, and I have less than half of my lung capacity left as it
Oh.
is. But so I had physical health issues,
Hmm.
and but I still managed to make straight A's in school and so forth. But it's funny you should say that because one of the groups that I run on Facebook are my high school classmates.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
actually from some are from grade school
Wow.
through high school.
That's
And we were
great.
talking about like how the perceptions that we had of people back then compared to now, because they tell me, well, you're a totally different person now and you've come out. Well, I sang in my father's band when I was 5 years old. I performed, I was out there.
Yeah.
And I was always the social person. So it wasn't that I was shy and nobody could talk to me and things like that. But I
Mm.
never stopped to look at, well, I will say that my mother and my dad would always talk about how cute my sister was and how pretty she was.
Oh, there you go.
And I was the brainy one. Well, if there was a question to be answered, go to Barb. She doesn't know it. She'll find out. But
Okay.
if it was something pretty to look pretty and something that my sister did that. And
Okay.
so perhaps it wasn't something, perhaps that had something to do with that.
Yeah,
I
your
never thought of
self-image.
myself as
Yeah.
pretty, but I didn't think of myself as, I just thought of myself as an acceptable person, that I was
Okay.
just your average human being.
Girl next
And
door.
right, right. Yes, I was the girl that you played horse with. Remember basketball? And
Yep.
when we
Yep.
were kids, I would
Kick the
play
can.
horse with all the boys, and I played pool. My dad got a pool table and put it out in the yard, and got all the boys from the neighborhood to play pool against me. I was really good. Remember Charlene Burke from Blab?
Yeah. Yeah.
She's a super pool player. I mean, she goes into Vegas for competitions and everything.
Wow. I didn't know
She's
that.
still into that now, and yeah, she was on YouTube. I think you could find it on
You know
YouTube.
what's great about that? I mean, even I found myself because I had a high IQ. I was kind of shy when I was younger, but when I got into high school, I kind of came out of my shell. But when you're talking about sports and stuff and like playing pool, and people don't think of that as a sport, but it's a cool activity. I started playing golf, and at a
Oh,
very early age, when I was like 14 years old. But it
did
wasn't
you?
until I was probably about 25 or 26 years old that I started experiencing a problem with one of my ankles. And I had to kind of like give up golf because I was having so much pain in just one ankle that every time I went and played, I would come home and I'd be having to put ice on it all the time. And I just kind of gave it up for many years. But I met a chiropractor who was able to fix it. It was like, yeah, cool.
Uh-huh.
But
Well, it's
I was going to say
golf.
that billiards is something you can play until you're retired or 100 years old. I mean, billiards is something that's
So is
cool.
golf. Ask Clint Eastwood.
Yeah, yeah, it's a
No,
great.
I'm married to a golfer. In fact, we spent our honeymoon at a golf tournament in Las Vegas.
Oh, okay.
Um, but he's really, really good. Um, but in fact, it's snowing where I'm at, and we had a clearing, and the
Hmm.
weather, and so he's going to be playing golf on Saturday. and
Okay.
he's a bit older than I am, so golf keeps you younger for sure.
Yeah.
I think younger
Walking
in
the
spirit,
links
and
every
there's
day.
just so golf is one of my. I am not. I'm a golf widow because I'm also deadly allergic to or grass. I can't. Um,
Oh,
being
come on.
out
Now you're
in the
just
grass
making
all the
things up.
time.
I've never heard
Nope,
of
that
people being allergic to grass.
oh no, there's grass allergies, but I have
Yeah.
learned how to overcome that. Because I
Yeah.
spend most of my time at resorts.
Well, you think about
So
it though. Just think about because my grandfather used to be like a greenskeeper for a golf course in Costa Mesa, and I never realized how many different types of pesticides and chemicals that they spray out on those golf
right,
courses. It's really crazy. And he said, yeah, he goes, we have some people that get allergies because they're in close contact with these chemicals. And I said, was there something else you could do? And he goes, right now, he goes, these are our only options,
yeah.
trying to keep the greens all nice in the summertime when the sun's really blasting on them, and keeping them watered and fed and everything. It's pretty amazing. But I used to live out in Palm Springs,
Did you?
yeah,
Well,
Rancho
yeah.
Mirage.
Yeah, I know exactly where that's at. My husband's grandmother actually lived at Joshua Tree.
Yeah,
She had
yeah,
property out there,
yep.
and so we would go out there a lot on the weekends.
Sky Valley, 29
Uh-huh.
Palms, that whole
Yep.
area. I was introduced to those areas when I was younger, and going to Hadley's for a date shake on the
Yeah,
way home.
yeah. Hadley's is great, and when you get the old when we were young, the old people went to Hadley's because of all of the dried
The
fruits
dried
and
fruit,
stuff.
yeah,
Yeah,
date shakes and dried fruit, yeah.
right,
Yeah.
exactly.
My mom would stock up on all of her nuts and dried apricots and all that stuff every time we
Yeah,
went there. She'd buy pounds and pounds of
absolutely.
it.
But now you're no longer in the United States, are you?
No, I'm in Denmark, and you mentioned snow. It's been snowing all day here. There's like about, I don't know, 5 or 6 inches of snow on the ground right now.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I've been in
Wow.
Denmark since 2001.
Wow.
Yeah,
I
I
just find
like
it
living
weird.
in Europe though,
Yeah.
because everything's close. I mean, I can walk over the border and go to Germany, and I can drive. I've driven to Czechoslovakia, Italy, France, Switzerland. I've been in East Germany. Let's see. I've been in a lot of different countries here, and it's nice because you can literally get in your car and drive somewhere, or you can go jump on a train and travel for next to nothing. It's so cheap to go on a train around Europe. It's like you can
Uh-huh.
buy Eurorail passes that's good for the whole month, and you can travel as much as you want within that month. So it's
Wow.
super convenient. Yeah. Yeah, because you
Wow.
don't have to carry around a bunch of tickets and stuff like that. You just have your Eurorail pass and you just get on the train whenever you want, get off, go here, go there. It's nice. Uh,
Wow.
yeah, and
Wow,
most people
that's
don't think too because, like, I remember just spending a week in France and a week in Italy one time where I was really surprised at how inexpensive the whole trip was. Besides a hotel having like half pension. Half pension basically in Danish means that you get one meal per day. It's included in the price of your hotel stay. So we were having that one meal in the morning instead of having it in the evening. But then when we would be out walking around, we would literally go to the supermarket, and there was so many really good things that you could just buy over the counter and have like a big bowl of coleslaw or something, or some chicken, or some smoked chicken, or some fish and bread. So if you do it right, you can really have fun and not spend a huge amount of money when you're traveling around Europe.
wow. That
Surprisingly,
that that does sound fun.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, listen, Don, I'm going to have to take off. It was good to
Okay.
catch up with you. It's been a long time.
Yeah, it
And
was nice talking to you again. It has been a
yes,
long time since Blab Days. It's like been 5 years almost, right? it feels like longer because it
Was
seemed
it
like there was
5
a
or
gap there
6
where there
now?
was nothing going on.
I think it's 6 years now.
Yeah.
They were having a reunion a couple days ago, um, part of the groups where I didn't make that, so I know that
Where were they having the reunion?
I think it was on Zoom. I think
Oh yeah.
everybody went to Zoom for
Yeah.
that, and I just didn't again, I didn't have time because of what I was up to, but,
Yeah. Hey, did
I'm
you
look
check your Facebook page to see if this is running on there?
oh,
Because
it says it's not connected to F I will
oh,
real
okay.
quick,
'Cause I was just kind of
but it
curious.
said the thing it said was it couldn't connect to Facebook. It doesn't show that it's connected to Facebook. Like I said, when I brought those groups up and I tried to get it to go, it did
Yeah.
not, it crashed. Yeah, there's nothing on there.
Okay. Well, it's
And
running on YouTube and it's running on my Facebook page.
so I did check YouTube and it's on there, and I don't know, I didn't check my settings on YouTube. I can see it through my studio that I'm live on there, but
Yeah.
I I don't have, there must be 70 fall subscribers or something, because I've just used that for storage and beta testing as well.
Yeah.
But we'll see what happens going
Well, I do
forward.
like this
I
platform. I mean, it did. I mean, I talked to the developers and one of the owners, and it was really amazing that he was pretty apologetic because I was having a conversation with somebody, and about 20 minutes into the conversation, the thing just froze. And I said, I can't do an interview if the thing's going to keep freezing. And he goes, we're still in our beta phase. So I said, yeah, and I understood that, because every one of these platforms has to go through a certain amount of testing, and they keep having to tweak it. So, but I think they're doing a good job.
Yeah, it seems to, I mean, and it shouldn't have been as bad with me coming in with just audio, the pull on this particular live cast either. So,
Yeah,
uh, but it's been pretty. I don't know if my audio's been coming in okay through the whole time. I've had
yeah,
some
it
issues
sounds
with
good.
another platform, but um, I think that, I mean, from what I'm gathering, it's all right. So, it,
Yeah, it sounds good.
we'll see what happens. So again, it's fun hanging out with you, and I got to take off. So
All right.
now should I, oh, there it is. I see the exit button. So I'll take off
Yeah.
that way, do it the nice way.
Okay.
You have
All
a
right.
good
Well,
one.
thanks for coming
Ta-ta.
by, Bob, Barbara.
Bye.
Have a good day. Bye bye. Okie dokie. So let's see. I'm going to go ahead and pull that one out. That one will get off the site. There we go. So I sent I sent out invites to Sarah, Colin, Alex, Miss Christine, and Zakia Ringgold. The reason I sent those out to those people is I had spoken to Alex earlier today, and he said that he was thinking about going online. But he might have something that he wants to talk to me about in private because he's working on another project that has to do with cryptocurrencies as well. So we'll see how that works out. But yeah, so my main focus is going to be on HEXonHAPS.com, and then I'm going to be doing archiving of this content over there. So I'm going to be talking a lot about Hex because I really feel like it's going to be one of those platforms that people are going to see the utility of it as soon as they check out the hex.com, and they're going to go, okay, I can see that this thing has utility. There's a lot of different NFTs, non-fungible tokens, and they're being linked to things like crypto kitties and artwork and all these other things. And I have to agree with Richard is that there's a certain amount, like when Beanie Babies happened, and that was like a big craze. Beanie Babies took over the market, and people started getting crazy about Beanie Babies, and they started trading them and going nuts with those. And I think it's kind of one of those things. These things can have kind of a lifespan where they go up and they have their popularity, and then they kind of like fizzle out. and then they kind of like find like a mediocre kind of line where they keep on trading. So there's to this day you can still find people that are trading and buying and selling Beanie Babies. But CryptoKitties is another one of those things where it's a fad, and there's been people selling CryptoKitties for, I don't know, some crazy amount, $100 and some odd $1,000 for one piece of digital art. So it's it's pretty crazy. But at the same time, when I think of that, I think of the utility of that, and I think, well, there's no real utility. That's literally the perception of something that somebody has. So if you have a piece of digital artwork and you want to sell it, and you want to sell it as a digitized a digital token, then you can do that. You can assign a cryptographic hash to that particular piece of artwork, and when you sell it to somebody, they can keep it on the blockchain. So it's literally like their piece of property, but it's a digital piece of property, and no one else has a copy of it. So in that regard, it's cool. And there will be other things that will come in the future, like titles for houses and titles for cars and boats and things like that, that will have some kind of a digitized proof of ownership, for example, that will be registered on the blockchain. So with all of this technology, though, when I saw Hex and I thought, well, here's something new, here's something cool, you can actually stake it. And when I say stake it, it basically means you could put your money away for a certain period of time. You're going to gain a good rate of return in the form of interest on that staked cash. And then, when the stake ends, you can actually just keep your holdings and keep them liquid, or you can restake them. So I think the platform itself, the way that it was designed, and I look at these things because I am kind of like a non-techie person. When I look at something like this, I always think, well, how does the user interface work? Can I even set up a MetaMask? And the answer is yes, it's really easy. But can I get some Ethereum and then trade it for Hex and then stake it? How hard was that? And so from my point of view, being a person that's not that technically savvy, I don't write code or anything, I was still able to go in there and do it. And it didn't take me that long at all. So those are the things that I think are, when I look at a site and I see, oh, here's what you do, here's how you do it, and this is the next step. So for me, it was quite easy. But will there ever be, people that are as easygoing about their cryptocurrencies and having apps on their phones like they do in countries like China and other, even some third world countries that have this infrastructure that is, they have an infrastructure where people are using their mobile devices more than they're using computers, because most people own a digital phone, like a smartphone, as opposed to having a laptop computer in their home. Most people have a digital, some kind of app on their phone. So in those countries where that's the case, those people are very, very comfortable using cryptocurrencies already. It's just like, it becomes ubiquitous in very short order, because there's no other options. It's like you're carrying around cash at some point in time and you realize, oh man, I'm a target. Somebody can actually steal this money from me. But if you have a cryptocurrency, there's ways that you can protect it on your phone and in your device where nobody can get it, So I think that's where, to see certain countries adopt cryptocurrencies and all of these different tools on their mobile devices faster than the United States, maybe the United States, the people in the United States just want to have a little bit more. They want to see more of a track record, So, Bitcoin's 10 years old now, so I think now is a point in time where you're going to see a lot more institutional investors dumping money into Bitcoin, and like Michael Saylor and those kind of people. So I just see it as a positive thing, but I see Hex as kind of like the new best thing, because when Ethereum was built, Ethereum had specific use cases that they really wanted it to be, running for. And they said, well, we want to use it for this DeFi project and this DeFi project and this DeFi project. And Hex had another platform or another use case idea when they built the platform. So it was like, okay, we want this particular tool to do this, this, and this, and we want to be able to do it on the Ethereum platform. So they had the best of both worlds. So that's why I think that Hex is going to have years and years of adoption and just incredible gains. I just see it as it's going to really, really start dominating all other platforms, because it's really that good. And if you don't believe me, just go check it out and see for yourself. Like I said, the developer is really sharp, and he's just a good guy. He seems like he's not only just an honest guy, he's he's really harsh too. I mean, he's not afraid to tell these people off when they're coming in with some really either really nasty comments, like, when a person will come in and say, "Oh, this is a scam," he'll just block them and get them off of his stage, because it's like he says, he goes, "I don't have time for this, because if you are uneducated and you don't want to educate yourself by reading the information that's available, then it's your tough luck." It's like you cannot force somebody to learn something if they've got their mind set against it, from the beginning. So, but I found that particular platform by just real dumb luck. I was on YouTube one night, and I was looking at videos in the macroeconomics realm. Macroeconomics is when they're talking about, geopolitical issues and macroeconomics within the United States and other countries. And then it was in the suggested videos where one of Richard Hart's videos showed up, and I'm like going, "What's this?" And I just clicked on it, and I started listening to this guy and thinking, wow, this guy he's really brilliant. He's really sharp. So I like to listen to smart people, but it's a smart guy that's also involved in cryptocurrency. So I was like, yeah, this is cool. So that's why I got attracted to it. But yeah, anyways, thanks for watching. I want to say thanks to Barb Tomlin. She's been around. I mean, since I've known her since Blab. And Blab was a platform that we had a long time ago, about 5 or 6 years ago. It was a really cool platform too. But I wanted to say hello to, let's see, I think it's Kalain. Hello from Bartsville. Bartsville. Yeah. But yeah. Anyways, if there's any kind of questions or comments, or you want to come on and talk about your business products and services, you're welcome to. If I'm doing a blab.cafe or this white paper, or I'm doing HEXonHAPS, you can always come in and talk to me about your stuff, about your projects, about your business, your promotion, all that stuff. Because the thing is like Barbara's alluding to, it's like if you don't go out there and try to get noticed, you won't get noticed. You really have to put the effort in to, build up your community on Facebook, try to get your group going so people can find out about your content. There's just no two ways about it. You have to promote yourself, because no one else will. So, but anyways, with that said, I wanted to say thanks again for everybody coming by. Thanks for subscribing and sharing this platform. Share the platform, share my videos, subscribe to my channel, and you can also get notifications whether you're on YouTube, Facebook, or you're on HAPS itself. You're welcome to come on in. Oh, and by the way, if you want to come into the platform and you want to jump into one of my videos like Barbara did, you have to be on the platform, which means that you have to download the app on your mobile phone or get it on your browser. So You go over to Google Play or what is it, the Apple Store, but it's there for you. So thanks a lot. What do you say, Trey? He's like, I want to go play in the snow. It's only like 11 o'clock. No, it's only 10:30. He's like, yeah, man, we can go outside and play in the snow, can't we? Can't we? Yeah, we can go and play. Yeah, it's really nice. Everything's just covered in snow now. So I'm sure we got at least 6 inches of snow out there. So anyways, have a great day, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.